The following is a list of Moors who have been kidnapped and are being held for a demand of income. The demand of income is being made against the family as well as through fraudulent submissions of documents alleging that they are caring for the people in some sort of long-term care fashion. These Moors have been kidnapped literally off the street by employees of various corporations that are guised as counties, cities, towns, township, boroughs. These names that we have all been mentally conditioned to believe are government are not. They are exactly what they say they are. They are municipal corporations, and as such, they, if you do the research, you will find that they are foreign corporations on American soil. Therefore, they do not have standing nor jurisdiction to make a demand of income or even bring a claim against the Aboriginal indigenous people or any people on American soil, this making their actions criminal. However, as Moors, we must bring these crimes to the forefront via civil complaints against these unalienable constitutional treaty-secured rights of the people, Aboriginal indigenous Moors of this land. If the municipal corporation has been provided, then we reference that along with the union state. If we don't have the municipal corporation where the employee works that actually did the kidnapping, then we just reference the union state that is bound and obligated to protect the people from foreign and domestic invasion. This list comprises Moors who have been kidnapped and are being held hostage by employees of various corporations on American soil, which is a violation of the American Constitution 1791, and it is a treaty violation, being that we are talking about Moorish Americans, Aboriginal indigenous to this land, who have been kidnapped by employees of foreign corporation on American soil. This making this an international issue because you have two nations with one nation warring against another. Therefore, this is an international issue. If you have a family member near or far within your immediate family or one of the family that you know and you would like them added to this list, please send an email to mhhseyeswideopen@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Kidnap Moor, and please provide us with their free national appellation, the municipal corporation that the employee is operating through that kidnapped them, along with the union state that this corporation is in purview to. So with that, we start out with our sister RVBey, kidnapped through a joint venture between Mantis Corporation and Shelby Corporation under the purview of Tennessee, Daoud Il under the purview of Arkansas, Amir Moslemin Il Kusu Ra Kushbey under the purview of Missouri, Asar Patah Amin Ra Bey under the purview of Ohio, Jeremy Paler Il, Terry Thorne Bey, J. Mikhail Brooks Bey, Joseph Kanaday Il, Kush Amir Bunch Il, Emmanuel Billings Bey, Yassin Khalik Alamin Il, Michael Curry Bey, all under the purview of North Carolina, Noble Crisco Il under the purview of New Jersey, Messiah Aziz Il and Crystal Il, both kidnapped through a joint venture between Mercer Corporation, Freehold Corporation, and Trenton Corporation under the purview of New Jersey. We're still waiting on an update regarding baby Patricia Bey, kidnapped by Atlantic Corporation under the purview of New Jersey. Eldridge Terran Fisher Il, Marquis Sevion Il under the purview of Indiana. Solomon Il Bey, and Mumi RVBey under the purview of Texas, William Barrett Ill under the purview of Virginia, Bomani Abidwil Ill, kidnapped by Chesapeake Corporation under the purview of Virginia, RVBey under the purview of West Virginia, Thomas Lee Bey under the purview of California, Victor Eduardo Aguaye Juarez Ill, kidnapped by Harlem Corporation under the purview of Georgia, Natural Tahuti Ill, kidnapped by Benner Corporation under the purview of Pennsylvania, Rennie Bay, kidnapped by Hamilton Corporation under the purview of, Hamilton, Ontario Corporation under the purview, well, actually, it's Hamilton Corporation. The state would be Ontario, and that's that would be a union state, and it's on American soil that is referenced as Canada. And last but not least, Brian George Mills Bey, kidnapped by the employees working through Glades Corporation under the purview of Florida. Thank you very much.
All right, Islam. Welcome to NHHS Eyes Wide Open. This is your host, Anita L., along with my co-host, Ms. Ryan Olive L.
Peace and love, Moors, Anna E., everybody on the line.
Peace. RVBey.
Islam, peace and love to all.
And Cujo Adwa L.
Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love to the panel. Islam.
All right.
Islam.
Before we get started, I want to send a big shout out. Let's see. First of all, to let everyone know the chat room is open, and also to send a big shout out to our family listening over near the corporate construct known as Great Britain, Islam. To the family listening over near corporate South Africa, Japan, the Netherlands, Islam, Brother Albacet, let's see, the Peen, Mexico, Brazil, Barbados, Islam, Trinidad, Bangladesh, Cuba, and to areas we have yet to connect with. Peace and love. Thank you so much for listening, joining, and sharing. To our callers, thank you so much for calling in each week, filling up the phone lines before the broadcast even begins. Thank you so much for calling in, sharing, joining, bringing information to the table so that we can all grow and, on an individual basis, uplift fallen humanity. Let's see. This week, the only announcement I believe we have is this Wednesday. We have Abdullah Mosley Bey.
Abdullah Talib Mosley. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Abdullah Talib Mosley Bey, who will be doing the etymology class tomorrow at the National Theater. So if you're in the area, make sure and stop in and participate. Doors open at 6:30, class ends at 7:30, and as well it will be broadcast over the air. So make sure and check out that class. And I think that is it.
I did send you a person, brother, that we missed on the call out.
Yeah. And you know what? Last week I said I would be updating that list, and I didn't get to it. And I was
I know.
debating whether to play it because I didn't get to it, but I played it anyway. So I'm going to try and update it so that we'll have an updated recording for next week.
All right. Well, you can mention his name.
That's that.
Or you want me to mention?
All right.
Can I add his name then? I mean, now?
Sure.
Call out. Yeah, Anwar Sawitton Ill, Corporate, Pennsylvania. I think I texted it to you. Maybe you didn't get it. All right. Peace.
You did.
Family.
I see it.
All right.
So today's broadcast is entitled, it actually about it a little bit, because it was actually as a result of an experience that I had today, but it's also, in conjunction with, just studying. And it's kind of sort of like, it had me think, like, who you going to call, what you going to do. Who you going to call, what you're going to do. And it asks questions. What exactly is government? What does it mean when it was first established, this word government, back in the 1500s? What does it say? What is subject? In order for there to be subject matter jurisdiction, you must first be a subject. Study. Islam, if you're not studying, you are wasting time taking up space. Wake up. So I was just going to leave it at that, and then we talk about it. But then I said, you know what? I had looked under these definitions, for example, govern and government and state and subject. And I said, you know what? Let me just add them so that we can, I'm talk about them a little bit. Because, when I looked up this word govern, and this is from the Black's 4th edition dictionary, page 824, govern. The definition for govern is to direct and control the actions or conduct of, either by established law or by arbitrary will, to direct and control, rule, or regulate by authority, to be ruled, precedent, law, or deciding principle for. That's govern. Now, the purpose of government is to govern. So when you look at the word govern and government and governor, you have one person telling everybody what they can and cannot do and establishing regulations to administer this. Now, many of us have been mentally conditioned, and very well, to believe that when we hear these words govern, governor, government, that they apply to people in their private capacity. The saddest thing going on this continent right here is the vast majority of the people do not know that the Moroccan American Constitution was written to keep every single corporation from infringing on the liberties of the people. That means any federal, state, or municipal or otherwise corporation, no authority whatsoever to regulate the actions of the people at all. And this is the Moroccan American government. Because you got Moors out there talking about, where's your government? Where's your government? This is the Moroccan American government. And you really don't even have to say American, because American and Moroccan is synonymous. But if you've been studying, you would know that. These non-Europeans didn't come up with this government. It was here. It's a universal principle, right? So you look at the definition of government, and it reads from the Latin gubernaculum, Gubernaculus. It reads, signifies the instrument, the helm, whereby the ship to which state was compared was guided on its course by the gubernator or helmsman. And in that view, the government is but an agency of state, distinguished as it must be in accurate thought from its scheme and machinery of government. There's more to the definition, but you know what? Study, study, study. If we were studying, this would be a piece of cake. It would definitely be a breakfast fight. Because look at this definition of government. Okay, now if you have the definition of govern and government, then you already know what is the function of the governor. And then, if you really understood this, then you would know that a quo warranto is an absolutely powerful instrument, but only if you know. So then we look at the definition of state. Straight out of the Blackstone Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1578. State reads a people permanently occupying a fixed territory bound together by common law, habits, and customs into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government, is that word government again, independent sovereignty and control over all persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace and of entering into international relations with other communities of the globe. The organization of social life which exercises sovereign power in behalf of people. There's more to that definition, but look at what this is saying. Now, if you understand this Moroccan-American Constitution, 1791, within Bill of Rights, it preserves your unalienable and inalienable to contract with whom you please.
Right.
So you can't be a member of a state or anything that we've been mentally taught to believe is a state in terms of a landmass or a location. You can't be compelled to be a member. It has to be by choice. It can't be by trickery. So if there's a people permanently occupying a fixed territory bound together by common law, habits, and customs into one body politic, that's got to be voluntary. Can't be forced, can't be compelled. And that's why in the original 13th Bill of Rights, Section 12, it says those of African descent cannot be members of the Union States. Studying, then you get that. And then last, we have this definition of subject, which really blew my mind. You know, all this talk of subject matter jurisdiction, but did you ever look up the definition of subject? Blackstone Dictionary, and that's on page 15. Let's see, 1594. 1594. This blew my mind. Because if they have subject matter jurisdiction, it's by default, you must be a subject. Subject. Definition. Constitutional law. One that owes allegiance to a sovereign and it's governed by his laws. The natives of Great Britain are subjects of the British government. Men in free governments are subject as well as citizens. As citizens, they enjoy rights and franchises. As subjects, they are bound to obey the law. The term is little used in this sense in countries enjoying a republican form of government. It means you got choice. Blew my mind. So when all these corporations thought, I got subject matter jurisdiction, how you got subject matter jurisdiction over me, this issue, and I am not a subject of any of you people. You can't just say it. Look, if you're going to say, that's why there's that case law that says You can't just say you got it. You got to show and prove it. Put the document on the table where I agree, I pledged my allegiance to any of you. And it can't be vague. And it can't be by truth. Put the document on the table. And all these people cackling about, the birth certificate. I have read several birth certificates, and there is nothing in it that says that newborn baby coming into the world can't even lift his head, pledge allegiance to anyone or anything. And guess what? Neither did its mama. Right? So the prophet said, study, study, study. He said study, study, study for a reason. Because let me tell you, if you're not studying, people are going to take advantage of you all day, every day long. Okay? All right? If you ain't studying, you don't even know that you're being taken advantage of. And if you ain't studying, if you're not studying and by some miracle it dawns on you that you're being taken advantage of, you ain't going to have the word or the wherewithal to even ask the appropriate question. The Matrix is an amazing movie because when Trinity met up with Neo in the club, she said something that was profound. Neo is looking for Morpheus or whatever. He's looking, which translates to he's studying, right? And Trinity is like, it's the question that drives you, not the answer. It's the question. You got to ask the right question. But if you ain't studying, that's all you're going to walk up in there with is attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And attitude will get you nowhere. Yeah, everybody knows that this is the land of the Moors. But if all you coming to the table with is attitude, you ain't got a pot to piss in. It could be inscribed on your forehead, your heart, your behind. But if you ain't studying, and that's all you coming to the table with is attitude, you got nothing. Nothing at all.
Quick interjection.
When I
quick interjection. When we're speaking about the attitude, keep in mind that your attitude can also be presented on paper.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So
you know
don't
what?
think they don't know that you're being a jackass in your writs and stuff like that. Why you don't reply
baby.
or whatever.
Yes, you are absolutely correct because sometimes oh gosh, we really got to study. We really got to read some of the history of our ancestors. Because our ancestors was never arrogant. They didn't come with attitude. They came with knowing. When you read these writs, these treaties, these documents, the recounting how we operated, it was full of knowing. And it ain't knowing I'm a Moor. It's I know law, I know history, I know my bloodline, I know where I come from, and I know I'm a Moor. Because all of those things mean you are a Moor.
That's right.
So if you walking around here thinking, oh, this is my ancestral estate, I'm a Moor, this is my ancestral estate, it's so much more than that. We were the wise people on planet Earth. We were the teachers of civilization. We brought it together. Look at Spain well, actually the Al-Andalus, which they call Spain today, that is what we put together. It still functions. The running hot and cold water, the light, the streets that hasn't been paved since we put them down. This is where we work in harmony, not just with nature, but with each other, and that's why we were able to do the things that we did. Of course, unfortunately, we started to get egos, and that's what started the division of family, and that's why we're splintered in so many pieces today. But the prophet said, study, 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 and tell you, everybody can run around here chasing their tail about every other processes or whatever my Europeans put on the table or whatever your homeboy or your homegirl whispered in your ear. But none of that means nothing. Because this is all about study, study, study for you. Everybody want to save everybody, but you ain't even saved yourself. This ain't about you and them. This is about you and you.
And you.
And, I had this experience today where, I had to contact the United States Postal Service. And it was like an epiphany, irony, and all of that other good stuff all rolled up into one because, we always got more complaining about, our lack of turnaround. Oh, you so slow. Is this hard? How y'all don't have a number? Oh, I ain't going to do business with you because I can't, because you ain't got a phone number where I can call you up. Well, let me tell you. All these people cackling about all of this stuff need to just shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Because I call the United States Postal Service today, and I had a lesson in, baby, we are doing the damn thing. If that's what they doing, we are doing the damn thing. Because the first call, it took me by surprise. All of our agents are currently busy. If you like, you can leave your telephone number and we'll call you back. Well, I'm not leaving my telephone number because I'm calling from a private number. We ain't friends. We don't have that kind of relationship. So I decide I'm going to hold on. Then it says, boy, that you can hold on. The current wait time is 33 to 45 minutes. I was like, what? So I'm going to hold on. I know some of you probably wondering, what does this have to do with government? Listen.
Oh.
It's all government because it's about governing your mind. All right? So I said, I'm going to hold on. So I'm holding on for 13-sounding woman comes on the phone and asks me for my name and a zip code. I totally ignore her. I said, I have a tracking number. Here it is. She takes the tracking number. I'm thinking she took the tracking number. She comes back and asks me for my name and a zip code. I said, I don't have a zip code and my name is irrelevant since I gave you a tracking number. So she says, can you give me the tracking number again? I give her the tracking number again, and thinking she's putting in the number, she asked me how many packages. I'm already annoyed. I don't like to talk to customer service people because I don't know where they come from these days. Just give me something that I can type in and find out stuff, which I did. But I needed somebody to go further. So I gave her the tracking number again, and after I gave it to her, I let her know, if you're checking the same system that I already know what that says, I need you to tell me exactly the packages. So she says, okay, give me the number again. So I gave her the number again. She asked me another stupid question. about the package. I said, did you put the number in? Because if you had put the number in, you would see that it's one package, because I only gave one tracking number, and it's been sitting since February. So you don't need to ask me any more questions. You need to tell me what is the status of this package. Now, remember, I've been holding for 34 minutes. This woman says to me, okay, well, thank you, and have a good day. Click.
She wasn't programmed to answer that question.
I'm like, wait a minute. What just happened? So I called back, and I did the same time frame of the 45-minute wait. So I said, okay, well, let me put that on speaker and mute it, and let me start Googling around to find the Inspector General or the CEO or somebody. So I call Consumer Affairs, I think it was. Consumer Affairs. And some woman answers, and she says, what is your zip code? Okay, so I'm already annoyed. And I'm like, I don't know why everybody is asking me for a zip code. The zip code is irrelevant. I have a tracking number. Would you like the tracking number? So she takes the tracking number. And then comes back and says, what is your zip code? So out of frustration, I said, I don't have one. You need to tell me where my package is. You don't need to be asking me about a zip code. So I said, I don't have one. This woman says, and she sounded like a modern European daughter. She says, oh, you're not in the United States of America? And I'm like, no.
No, you got cut off. You got cut off. You got cut off. They didn't hear what you said. You said the United States of America.
She asked,
yeah,
am I in the United States of America? And I said, no,
right,
I
okay.
am not.
Mm-hmm.
Because when did the United States of America become a landmass? And where is that? Government, governor, state, subject. It's all relevant because look at these questions that people are asking you just to find information. Give me a zip code. Oh, so a zip code proves that I am in the United States of America? And if my objective was to find out where my package was, if it was not important to me to go, I might have stopped. Tell me where the United States of America is in terms of landmass, because that would have been an interesting answer, but I was on a mission. So she says to me, well, if you're not in the United States of America, then I'm going to have to transfer you to international affairs. So I said, fine, no problem, because I'm in Morocco, and this is an international affair if you're the United States of America. So she transfers me to somebody else who's still a part of the United States of America. So clearly, international doesn't mean distance.
That's
international is about the relationship of the two parties. Because I'm here on Morocco, I'm on Moroccan land, Moroccan American soil, and she and they are in the United States of America, wherever they are.
Where the hell is that?
We don't know where that is, but it's somewhere. And so, I ended up talking to this brother. Sounded like a brother. You never know these days. Sounded like a brother. And so I told him, I said, look, I'm kind of annoyed right now. I have 3 issues, but we only going to talk about one right now. So I laid down my issue to him, and he was like, oh, let me transfer you to Consumer Affairs. I said, well, they just transferred. So clearly, international and domestic don't mean nothing to the United States of America. All right, but I finally got to somebody who I didn't get any information, but I was able to create a claim ticket, which is good because I am so going to be writing to the Inspector General and the so-called postmaster, because you know USPS, federal body, it is a contractor. You do know that.
A lot of people don't. They don't know. Yeah.
All of these agencies, the immigration, the so-called foreign land, home security, the foreign security, you know, the CIA, the FBI, the what do you call it, the Justice Department, all of these, they're contractors because there's no actual federal, state, all contractors relative to franchise. And if you know anything about franchise, you're talking about a McDonald's setup. And what's wild and crazy is that they have us who are not studying, following wrong, thinking that a franchise contract is government. It is so deeply implanted in our cranium that they are government. We rarely take the appropriate action, which is to sue them in a civil suit and in a district court, which creates a national record. And if you're not suing them in a civil capacity, you have in back and forth communication with employees of a municipal corporation, and if you give them anything, finance, even your home, civil district arena. So when the prophet was talking about that,
okay, I need you. You're saying that so whatever finances people give any of these municipalities, even under the false pretense where they're pretending they're government, or it's a fine, or it's a this, it really goes down as a gift.
Yep,
that's some heavy right there. All right,
it's a gift because here's what they're saying. This is the psychology. If you was really being injured, this is the psychology. If you were really being injured, knowing that the district court is of a federal arena and they deal with constitutional violations and challenges, you would have taken it there. And if you don't take it there, then y'all got some side hustle going on and you giving them gifts. That's the way it's looking. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but that's the way it's going down, because when people have been violated in any way, shape, or form, they beat a quick path to a civil suit. And if that's not happening, then you haven't been injured because there's no national record. And that's why don't nobody really know. Even look, if we got people on TV, national TV, replayed all over the place, getting murdered. But there's no, whenever any of our people are injured, they go to the very people who injured them and talk about, oh, can we have a grand jury? Grand what? Jury what? You sitting, it's equivalent to you sitting in the Walmart customer service talking about, can we get a grand jury? And that's why they go in there. And you ain't never invited inside to the meeting. They could be in there sipping on cognac and smoking cigars. You don't know. Got a little show going on, tap dances and all kinds of stuff. And then they come out all neat and tidy and talk about, we're not pressing charges. Because they're not government. Every single one, look, they're called municipal corporations for a reason. The key word there is corporation. If somebody can tell me or show me where in the Moroccan American Constitution of 1791 a municipal corporation, grand jury, anything, municipal corporation is sanctioned to have a grand jury, anything, court, anything, legislature, make law. Where is that in the Constitution? Doesn't even exist. Doesn't exist.
Talk about acting.
And this is why the prophet said, study, study, so that you were not molested by other citizens. And you know, if you really want to break it down, he said, baby girl, you better sit down and study, study, study. Because if you start studying, you will find out just how powerful you are. And then you can take it to the bridge, girl. Take it to the bridge.
James Brown, isn't it? It's inspired.
But you ain't never going to know how much power you got until you study. And a lot of our people, they're functioning from a place of fear. All those people who want to go out there and speak on behalf of Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sally, Jane, and Sue, you're wasting your time. Read chapter 1 of the Holy Quran. He said, man is mine. You can't get up into your homegirl or your homeboy's mind and speak and think for them. They are the only ones that can do that.
Man don't know
and
by
you
being told.
You will work yourself into an early grave trying to drag them to the water, kicking and screaming. That's why the prophet said, I gave you enough to save a nation, now save yourself. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to change your mind. You know, we literally think, and I'm going to end with this, we literally think this is the mental conditioning. Chapter 1 says man is mind, which means we creating everything. I don't care what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. We're creating everything. All right? But we've been mentally conditioned to believe that we got to go and get a job so we can get some Federal Reserve notes, so that we can buy food, so that we can pay rent, so that we can purchase the car, so we can put some gas in it, so we can purchase clothes to put on our back, so we can get some new shoes, you know, whatever it is. This is what we've been mentally conditioned to believe. But chapter 1 says man is mind. We manifesting all of this stuff whether we like it or not. We manifesting it. So how we need Federal Reserve notes when we manifested the Federal Reserve notes? That's a serious mental conditioning, and that's why the only way you're gonna wake up is if you studying, and don't stop studying, because I have moments when I am so crystal clear, but I'll have other moments when I'm not so sure, and they come and go. And when they go, I pick up a book and read. And when they come back, I'm picking up a book and reading, because I need reinforcement. And with that,
Islam. When we were talking about the whole psychology about them pretending to be government and people going with it, the other side to that is the people have to be in mental slavery to even go for that. Right? No different than you have to be in mental slavery to be brown and call yourself black. Like something has to be wrong with your mind to be thinking that, you know, Walmart's going to give you a grand jury.
That's a good one.
Like think about all the other people that are in the Walmart looking at these people like, what are they doing in here, or what, you know? And after a while, people just go about their business and let these people stay there doing stupid stuff. Which is where they're at right now. Right, which is where they're at right now. Which again goes back to why you're going to call some U.S. company and then their customer service is somebody in India. Why are you talking to somebody from India for something here? Right?
And that you call government.
Yeah, right. These are things out here that they've been implementing because of the multicultural society out here, and they're pushing it on the vibe of, you know, a multicultural society, right? But really, the corporation's already been sold to the people who they owe the funds to. That's why you're calling a U.S. company and getting somebody in Bangladesh or whatever.
Oh, yep. That's right.
Because it's already been sold. So you're thinking that you're really dealing with U.S. Secretary of State, whatever like that, when you talk about UCCs and birth certificate stuff? You're dealing with people who sold the corporation. That they had people fooled, especially the Negro black coloreds, had them fooled thinking that, you know, be citizens of that and we want to be citizens of that and we have rights and all that stuff. And they're playing around with a corporation that sold to international people a long time ago.
That's a good point you're making, though. That if they're supposed to be government, and you're speaking to someone who's in Bangladesh as a customer service rep, that should be enough to let you know that it's not what you thought it was. Ought to be. Oh, hold on. You're calling a place that's supposed to be government now, right? Let's get that clear. You're not talking about some other corporation. They're all corporations, but yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, very.
And go ahead. I don't want to cut you. I just wanted to add something. Another part of the reason we're bringing this up too is just, you know, divine law governs all events, and you know, we move in our thoughts with the movement of the energy and what's happening. You know, because divine law governs all events, and you know, we'll have some people. And recently did. We're not going to get into all the details of it or any identifiers, but there's people out here who think the way we're talking, which is, we have said before, bringing the corporate, or what we call European corporate indoctrination that has been given to us, bringing that into a low-VO national information, and it won't work. It doesn't go, but people bring it. So they'll be talking about, we had someone say, well, I don't think that I should do business with RVBey because they don't answer their phone. Well, if you call, it says best communication is email at this time, meaning that maybe there'll be a time coming, and I know it will, where it could be different. In the meantime, we're doing the work. So we were comparing Annie's experience of what she had at that which was supposed to be government, that these other people think that they're gauging their own government and their own activities, national activities that we know we're doing, right? they're gauging it against what they think is government. And so our point is, they have always been corporations. This is such a divine thing to share this evening. And so they've always been corporations. And so for those who haven't seen it, I guess what you're saying now is, you ought to see it now. But as you're saying, Cujo, their minds are already, that's why the prophet said, I come to take you out of this mental slavery. And you made a good point that look at yourself and see that you are not black, but then still call yourself black. Just as an example, there's many others. There's something wrong in that thinking anyway. And then want to, all right, so that's one thing to say, well, you know what I mean, we just referring to ourselves as black. But then you have the audacity to want to go into political, civil, social, and what you call unified activities, economic and the whole bit, and still hang on to those things, not realizing that makes you absolutely unconscious, dead in the eyes of the law. You can't talk about civil stuff and say and be that. You just can't. So if you wanted to be that, and that's what you be, right, fine. But if you really have the audacity to want to come into national principles, political things, economic resources, unity, and still bring that in, it's the same as bringing in what you think is government, which is corporations, and then trying to compare that to what is real. It's the same, that case law that says corporations have no parity with the real because they are abstracts of the mind. So they have no parity with the flesh and blood being. It's the same thing. And let me just say this, tapping up on what you had also was expressing earlier, it made me think about that case law that I believe you sent. I think you sent it, or you sent it to me and said, Ms., I don't know for sure, certainly. But let me just read it. It's about the subject that you were just talking about, that we're not subjects. All right. Yeah, because this is a powerful case law. And I'm finding it now. Just give me a second. I'm scrolling down the text. And do you have it in front? Well, I really think that this is very powerful to really bring home what you're saying as well, because we tell people that we are not sovereign citizens in that they now are calling what was the modern Europeans' efforts to be sovereign. They started a sovereign citizen movement. So we want to make distinctions that is not who we are, right? However, sovereignty is with the people, and this case law proves that we are sovereign but without subjects. See, there are sovereigns talking about the brutish Moors and Moors when they had, I guess, the Slavic slavery, they were subjects. Well, really. But during the revolution, it says this case law, I'm still trying to find it, clears up that during that revolution, we are, it's called autochthonous. We're still sovereign too, because our nationality, we're tied to the land. That's what sovereignty really means. But we're not sovereigns with subjects at all. And we're, as you said, not subjects at all. So I know, just everybody breathe for a second. I got so many things that were sent. Maybe it's this one. No, shucks. You don't have it in front of you. I'm going to find it. I'm just going to find it. So
is that the case law that is that where I just sent you out of the Black Law Dictionary?
Yeah, I believe so. It's.
I thought I sent it to your phone. I was trying to send it to your email, but
no, you sent it to my phone. That's where I got it from. I'm going to find it in just a second. It's just in one of the group things. It is. Who did I send it to?
What are you looking for? A definition or a case law?
No, I'm looking to read that case law that she had sent. I believe it was sent to you as well.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
I am. I know exactly. Yeah. It's the one, and you had said, oh, man, you had made a comment about it. Find it. I know I have it right here. I just don't know which one it is.
Word.
Yeah, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. You know, we're always sending stuff back. Sure, go ahead. Meantime, go ahead and I'll look for it and bring it back up. All right.
Indeed. No, just to add on, back to what we was all saying about government, you know, and the corporation. It's a few things to really look at. Like, that should be key points, as you brought up, and Cujo was bringing up, you know, these corporations. It's a corporation. And the situation that happened in about 2013 ought not be forgotten, for the fact that, you know, they are in fact a corporation, can close down and have been bankrupt and all of these things, because it happened. They already shut it down because of a debt agreement. That's corporate activity. Also, what I find interesting is that even when we look at certain beginnings of the European, you know, being bound by law, as it says in the 101, you know, they were bound in part, basically, or the law was put in order for, you know, lower self activity to be checked on the earth plane, specifically with the Christian demonic forces who call themselves democracies and Republican Party today. Even though the Republic is constitutional, what you see going on today with Trump and all of that is corporate parties. You know, those are parties, those aren't governments. So when they say Republican Party, Democratic Party, that's not the de jure republic that they're speaking about. But nonetheless, it's like it just boils down to what's in the Declaration of Independence already, which is the fact that, you know, they only derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. So consent is a big thing in all aspects of law, you know, because if you consent to something, then they consider it lawful. Example, if you got into a street fight, and, you know, I mean the street fight, like you see on the MMA, mixed martial arts, the reason why it's quote-unquote legal or lawful in the professional arena is because they consent to that. That's their profession. So nobody gets locked up after that fight or a boxing match or anything like that, because there's express consent. It's known that this is what they're going to do. So I'm saying that to say that consent plays a big factor in everything. So if they consent to this activity, that alone is what makes it lawful. But you can't even consent or waive jurisdiction to an institution that didn't have it in the first place. So don't get me wrong. Once you know, come upon that revelation and understanding, you always have the right to, you know, declare your nationality, proclaim it, and know your political status in the state that goes with that, and things like that, territorial jurisdiction, etc. Because, like you were mentioning, it all boiled back down to the fact that they were trying to get into an artificial territorial jurisdiction via even asking you, do you live in the USA? What is the zip code? All of these things are part of wardship, like how they try to break it up and zone out the land and divide it up, split it up, and make Roman colonies, basically, English colonies, or Christian colonies, etc. But it's all corporate, so it's not. It's definitely, like you said, it relates kind of to an illusionary matrix, if you will. But that being the case, thinking of the male, it reminded me too that, you know, law and history go together, and you know, origins of quote unquote black male, you know, male coats, etc. That's something that should be looked into when you're talking about the history of Moors, especially dealing with Europeans. And again, I suggest Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, should be looked at, for a little bit more information on that about, quote-unquote, blackmail in the mail codes, because these were people who were armored, or had armor and, in essence, deliver messages from back then, Now we know the blackmail, the extortion and all of that Moors was putting on Europeans, etc. Even though we're not black, we already know the origins of that. So, when these Europeans in these positions of powers, they don't forget stuff like that. Sometimes they I'm talking about the hierarchy of those institutions, know the origin of things like that. And, their whole thing is still based off of that residual aspects and control from the spoils of war. Like it or not, that's what they're maintaining. That's what they're endeavoring to maintain, because they know that everything they're doing has a history. So you see their construct of corporate institutions collapsing rapidly all over North America, from the Kmart's, you know what I mean, Family Dollars, Best Buy, there's multiple corporations that are just closing down. They don't even have, the stores are like shells today. Like, you go there, they might have it on display, but they don't have it in stock. You got to order it online. And you ask yourself, well, what was the point of why y'all even open at this point? If everything is online, it's collapsing the monopoly because it's worldwide now. So in that, the transactions online don't require Federal Reserve notes tangible. So the whole, everything is different, you know what I mean? So you could go to a store and they just have it on display. They don't have it. They have to order it for you. So you can see their institutions collapsing because they were enjoying the benefits of a de facto institution, i.e. meaning basically these are lineal descendants of people who tried to take possession of Moor's land, of American land, Europeans, modern Europeans. So all of that ancient history between Moors and Europeans, with the Europeans coming over here and still seeing Moors on this side, they didn't lose their history. They knew who they was dealing with on both sides of the Atlantic. Any way you want to go, any coast you want to touch, whether you're talking about so-called Africa, Europe, the America, they knew this was the same people. So, for the post office to even be considered federal, quote unquote, it's a lot of history there based off of Moors and Christians. Bottom line, they know that history because they're dealing with passports, right, which are all de facto misrepresentations of the land, artificial claims of jurisdiction. And then you look at the global aspect of it, the corporations that are feeding these European institutions that are called courts and things like that are all going back to the land of, where they came from before they got here. And we could say, well, they was made in Argentina and all that. I get that. But we're talking Moorish history, 7/11 to now, when they left and came over from Europe, 1492. These were foreigners to this land. They had no territorial jurisdiction and still don't. But nonetheless, they came out with an intent to conquer. And again, conquering isn't always killing. It's about buying you out, buying something that really can't be bought. So this is why you see different bank headquarters is like in Germany, talking about they have a claim on somebody's house in America. This is insanity. No, real talk. That's insane. You know, it's specifically if it's a corporation, a German corporation. But what's the problem? The problem goes back to aspects of Moors not really standing firm on the territorial jurisdiction in the aspect where there's a lot of Moors who think they're Negro, black, and colored, and they feel like their success is based off of being or achieving something that a European has been recognized for, meaning achievement or pride comes from, for some people, in getting a college degree because, you know, the European was able to do it, so was I. So they feel as though that's the evidence they have. They can make it in this world. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that when we measure the standards of this so-called equality thing, international law, I don't think that's necessarily true. And I'm not saying that we holier than or better than. I'm just saying that it's just certain things that's inalienable, meaning that when it does come to who has the ancient claim, the nation that has the ancient claim to this land, the Europeans have no equality to the conversation, like none, zero. Modern Europeans, pilgrims, or in the language of Noble Drew Ali, the pale-skinned nations of Europe. That's not hate speech, that's facts. So, being as though, you know, that doesn't apply to everything when we're looking at natural law, it's like, are we basing so-called equality or achievements on a measuring tool that's imbalanced anyway? Like, where is? I mean, it's just interesting because, as you said earlier, you know, we are the mothers and fathers of the knowledge and civilization and gnosis, and you know, manifesting things such as you mentioned the streets in Spain, all of these things, the universities, the schools, meaning that the master teachers became students to their students. That's crazy. Not that they can't learn from, because knowledge could come from anywhere, and you don't want to shut it out, but that's basically what happened, you know. So it's a case where, there's a deep sleep that has to be.
Wake up, you sleepy-headed Moor.
Right. You know what I mean? And for certain, it is important that, you know, you look out for self and everything first. That's definitely important. But for sure, it's just a lot of things that just you can still see the correlations of. So even like if you go and look at male coats and you look at the Asiatic style and all of this is always, you know, a part of messengers, warrior armor, and things like that. So when I think of male, M-A-I-L, not like this, the masculine species, if you will, but like male, like you deliver mail, certified mail, it kind of connects me back to this ancient mode of communication and delivery and, you know, knights and messengers and angels, etymologically being messengers, if you will. So all of that history, still see residual institutions of that today. And you need to know that. You need to know that, like straight up, because it's those same lineal descendants of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who's controlling spoils, quote-unquote, of war, even though their run is about up. You know, it's about up. This is what we're dealing with. This is what's being looked at. And that's the truth. So, you know, with that being said, did you find the piece you was looking for?
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
I'm going back to what had been being said. Actually, there's two things here, but it says the Supreme Court in the case of Wills versus Michigan State Police perfectly clear that the sovereign cannot be named in any statute as merely a person or as any person. Now I'm going to start right there because that's why when they'll say to you, we just talked to someone today, they'll say to you, well, I'm reading, they're not reading case law, they're reading statutes. And so they're reading a statute, but the statutes are not law. And you can say, well, all right, you can get that the whatever statute they're reading. Not that you're affirming anything for you, but you're saying, well, let me see, what is that statute? I'm sure in the wording it does not include me because it doesn't. But they'll run that past you, and because of our lack of knowledge, we may think, some people have thought, that that's law because they'll tell you it's law. Now they'll say statute, something that may bind them in their corporate activities, but it does not bind you in any way. Are you obligated? So those statutes, when it's this person or any person, they are not talking about you at all. And so then this case law goes on to say at the revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people. It was already on the people as far as we were concerned, but they're specifying it. And they, the people, are truly, this is all part of the case law here, are truly the sovereigns of the country, but they are sovereigns without subjects, with none to govern but themselves. See, that's why I say, all right, I come to teach you to be yourself. So the citizens of America, now listen to this, the citizens of America are equal as fellow citizens. Now we're nationals, but they're saying the citizens of America are equal as fellow citizens and as joint tenants in the sovereignty. That's Kism versus Georgia. Therefore, every man, this is another one, it's a part of this same case law, you'd have to read the whole thing, or this same case, Cruden versus Neal, North Carolina. There, every man is independent of all laws except for those that are prescribed by nature. Remember nature's law? That's what we're talking about, right? He is not bound by any institutions that have been formed by his fellow men. Going right back to when Annie started this off, she said, Article 1, you can associate with whoever you choose to by your own consent. But if you didn't consent, then your right to association would have been violated out of Article 1. So he is not bound by any institution. Any institution formed by fellow men without his consent. So that brings us right back to that. But there was one more here, and it had to do with, oh shoot, I got a low battery. I better go do something about that. It had to do with, this is a license fee, and I'm going to say this for those who need to use this. This came from O'Neill versus the Department of Professions and Vocation, and I really like this one, and we can use this if we all stand. Where a person is not at the time a licensee of a particular agency, his license having expired, and he not having asked for its renewal, neither the agency nor any other officer has jurisdiction over that person. And that's some strong stuff right there. So I just wanted to add those things to support. And you remember sending the one I read, right? That's the one I found. Yes, that's a great one. That means all their statutes, which we already know is not law, it doesn't apply to us.
Indeed. Oh.
All right. I'll yield the floor.
Can I share something with y'all? Real quick. It was just some food for thought. I was in the store today, and the cashier was like, man, because it was raining. It was like, it's nasty outside. Now I was like, well, yeah, April showers bring May flowers. And he was like, well, May flowers bring pilgrims.
European.
Europeans. Real talk. Think about that. Yeah.
Yep. Right. It's wild. All right. I yield the floor. You yield the floor. Anita, are you there?
Oh, yes, I am. All right. With that, let's take some callers. If you have a question, comment, concern, press 1 on your telephone dial, and we will begin taking callers. All right, we have caller 571-246. You're live on the air. Please state your affiliation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call. And you don't know how many times I've been trying to get through to your blog. And my name is Lawrence L., northwest of Mexham, near the corporate state, Virginia. And the first thing I want to do is tell you thank you very much for your contribution and your work, what you're doing. I'm one of them people. I'm coming awake, and I'm in the RVBey publications. I got my judicial notice here, preparing it so I can nationalize. I want to go ahead and take that route. I had 3 or 4 questions, and I've got them written down, so I'll be able to go quickly with this. And I would say the main one that I want to look at is where is there any kind of DVD or something that I can order when, for example, Taj Bey, he has a class. I notice I've been looking at everything on YouTube, and it's sometimes short of getting all the information that I need. And sometimes I see them do handouts, and I'm like, oh, I'm not there. I can't grab a handout or anything. Is there anything that I can get the handouts or tools, even when you all have y'all's blogs or you have shows that I could get? Could I leave an email or something?
Well, if there's a handout from the blogs that we're doing, if you're on the, and it'll give you the, I think it's Moorish word newspress.com, she'll give that out to you. They would be on, you would be able to go pick them up off of that website, that if it has anything to do with while we're on the blog. And so you can do that. If you're listening to most of our, Sisters Standing on Law, we would have anything that's dealing with that blog on the Sisters Standing on Law page. In fact, we have 13 months of going over every article and Bill of Rights of the Constitution with a syllabus that goes with it. So those things will be posted. So you might want to just be connected with that site, so that if there is anything that is associated with any of the blogs, you can get it. Outside of that, most of the stuff that's being taught is it's through study somewhere, somehow, of whatever that subject matter is, and you can kind of get your, get some information from in that way. But so I don't know, and if you want to get from the where we post anything that might be associated with any other shows besides.
I got pen and paper to write down something.
Yeah. What's the? Is it? I probably say it wrong.
We have an open Facebook page, MHHS Eyes Wide Open.
Okay, look at it all the time.
And also there is moorishnews.wordpress.com. Anything that's posted on Facebook for those people who are not on, you don't have to be on Facebook because the page is public. But if you don't like to go to Facebook, or if Facebook is annoying for you, you can go to moorishnews.wordpress.com. Anything that's on Facebook is also published on Moorish News. And if there are any if there are any documents, it will be available for download at moorishnews.wordpress.com.
Okay, and could I get? I got the Will versus State Police. I did not get O'Neill versus the Department of what was it?
Oh, you mean what
the
I
case
just
law.
read?
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
I got it right here. I said Cruden versus Neal 2, North Carolina 338-1796 to SE 70. That was where every man is independent of all laws except for those prescribed by nature. And then the other one was okay. You got the other one, Chisholm versus Georgia, and the part O'Neill versus Chisholm versus Georgia was a part of the sovereignty, where it says you can't be a person that in a statute they cannot identify a sovereign as a person or as any person.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
O'Neill versus Department of.
No, O'Neill versus the Department of Professions and Vocation is about the license fee. That if you never had a license, or if you had one and you let it expire and you didn't ask for its renewal, that neither the agency nor any other officer has jurisdiction of that person. That's O'Neill versus Department of Professions and Vocation.
Okay.
70.
Okay. Very good. Very good case law. I've been studying for about a year, and I have enormous amount of case laws, and I never realized how much I would love studying history and law, and so you guys are just beautiful. Anna L, Mizraim L, Cujo L, and Rosma RVBey. And my last question would be, it's with my name, and how I would put that under judicial notice because I'm a junior. Would I be the second?
Yeah.
There's no junior Bey, no Bey junior.
Right.
It would be the second. Yes.
Yeah, and I want to tell you something, that I have a very, very English name. It's very English.
How English is it? What is it?
Is it okay if I say it over the air?
Well, I mean, you can just say the part of it that you think is English or whatever. That's up to you. Go ahead.
Lawrence, isn't that English?
Well,
and then I'll go ahead and say it over the air. It's the last name is Brooks.
Brooks, like the river, like a brook of water. Okay, here's what you do. You go look up Lawrence, and you go look up the history on Brooks, actually. But if you look it up in a name book, of which you can get name books, say out of Borders or any of the bookstores, and they're usually in Latin. Okay, you're going to find the true source of that, and you're pronouncing the English version. However, you should look that up and see what it is, because it has a meaning. Why is this? It has a meaning that you understand what I'm saying? So go and do that. All right, because English men are nothing. If you look up the word English men in the Oxford Dictionary, it says in there we are nothing but hybrids. So they're the ones who never had a name. And they're the and then at the same time they're the ones who have a name, because that's a tag. But they're the ones who are the original Slavics. And when they say that we are Englishmen are nothing but hybrids, they're letting you know that they were established in the laboratories. So change your thinking on it. Look it up. Look it up.
Yeah.
Most of those names are Latin name books, or they'll be Arabic name books or whatever. And then rethink it. And one last thing to you about the caseload. you do know that as you search for case laws, most of the ones that are older are the ones they don't want you to find.
Older than 1938?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been studying, ma'am.
All right,
I know about
good,
that.
good.
I've been studying.
All right.
Yeah, and
All right.
I just want y'all to know about me. I'm not sure where Moorish Science Temple is close to me, but at the same time, I'm really willing the books and the tools and stuff that I have, the etymology. I've seen Abdul, I believe his name is Abdullah, and he does the etymology, and so incredible. And I looked up Brooks in etymology, and it was very interesting what the definition came out for that. But I'll yield the floor, and
let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question, because you have sort of an accent as yourself. You kind of have. You said your name is very English, and you sound very in the same way. Or where were you? Where were you raised at? On this side, or Britain, or where?
Oh no. I said Northwest of Mexham and the corporate state of Virginia.
Oh, so all right. Oh, yeah.
I want to tell you something. Yes, ma'am. I'm a soul brother. Okay.
Wait a minute. You say that as if you're used to people thinking you're something else. Because see, we went through that too by the voice sound, thinking that you're not. I went through that too because I went to schools where they. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I've seen you all on YouTube, and now I can put the face with the voice and everything, and you guys are great, and I want to let you know I'm here, and I'll be coming back. I got good common sense. I'm not going to go do something stupid, but what I want to do is learn about writs, how to wield writs, and not the tongue, but the pen that kills. The pen and paper. And that's what I want to learn.
The pen is mightier than the sword, as they say. That's what you say. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Than the sword, yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll yield the floor, and it's a great meeting you, all of you. And I'll be back again. And I question the unquestionable, and I go beyond my limitations. And I just want to say I'll ask questions because one of the guys come on your blog real quick, and he was talking about taxes, and you told him to write something, but a lot of times I hear people ask questions, and then I'm like, wow, how come they don't follow up with an additional question? Now, for myself, I'm paying taxes, and of course, state taxes give me money. Would there be a conflict if I write to the federal and say this is resolved through the certain case law, but take the money from the state? That wouldn't be a conflict, would it?
Well, the state doesn't have any authority. The state, I mean, what authority does the state have to you say give you money? It sounds like you're talking about income tax. Are you talking income tax or sales tax?
Yes, ma'am. You're talking income tax. I get money from them, but then I have to pay federal.
I'm not sure what you mean by you get money from them. You're talking about your income tax returns, or are you saying are you from state disability? Income tax? Oh, well, I mean, look, that's well. Then at one hand, how can you say don't tax me, and on the other hand, you're looking for something from them because see, really, what is income tax? I mean, that doesn't really. That's a terminology that means profit from a corporate investment. It has nothing to do with, in other words, when you get paid, that's not income.
Okay.
But if you say it's income and you want to give it to them as a gift, that's what it is. That's why it's called a contribution. You also know to answer your own question, you really have to answer that for yourself because contribution, because it's voluntary. You don't have to do that, but once you do. All right, so if it's voluntary, right, and then that's why it's called contributions. And if you know that what you're getting paid is not income to pay for all that out yourself. Now, if you want to do that because you think you're getting something back, I mean, that don't make a lot of sense to me, but.
Yeah, well,
what I'm saying?
you know, sure, I see what you're saying. The federal is where I have to pay, but the state I don't. And sometimes I wind up everything that the state gives me, I wind up giving it to the federal. You know, I'm not going to do anything.
I don't think that you really are. I don't know what the distinction of the two is in that respect. I mean, I know that there's state and there's. I mean, why are you paying any of them anything? It depends on what you're doing, what your status is.
Well, yeah, that's.
They break it up like that. I mean, when you look at it, when you look at it like that, take a good look at it, you'll find that they add all kinds of deductions, which are really gifts, onto that. So you don't know who the heck you're paying. They're all jumping on the bandwagon. So just review that, and you'll come to your own conclusions.
Yeah, I've heard and listened to what you all say, that don't jump into too many things at once. When I'm able to wield writs correctly, and that's a study. And of course, I'm studying also about the astrology and cosmology, and thanks to you guys' contributions, and I will keep listening and listening to you. You really raised my level of consciousness, and I appreciate it so much.
All right.
A great evening to you, and I'll be back again. And thank you a lot. I yield the floor. Thank you a lot.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right.
Peace is long. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Just one thing to add. One thing to add with regard to the brother doing his research with regard to the name. Always, when you're doing European names, always look up the family crest. Of the name. So once you look up the family crest of the name, something's going to be on the crest to let you know that it's Moorish. So it might have ostrich feathers on there, or it might have a knight on there, or it might have, like it would have the knight because they represent the knights, which were the Moors. It'll have seashells, which represent the fishermen, which were the Moors, or seashells to represent like the mosaic that the Moors used to build or whatever, because they're the only ones who found use of seashells. Nobody was using them. Right, so there's all these little things that, again, as you study, and not limiting yourself to studying to get out of the whatever it is that we're in, because we woke up to this information, right? You'll get lost dealing with that. Focus on the information as far as the history, and then the law will apply itself. As soon as you go law first without the history, because
that's right,
you're putting the cart before the horse.
Right. Law and history can't be separated, right?
Right. Yeah, and the same thing with, just like you're saying, you came to the realization that, hey, something's up with this tax thing or whatever. And then, you realize that you start slipping down this rabbit hole, you get your grip and station yourself. And then you stop for a sec. You realize, hold on a second, you know what I mean? Maybe I can't swim out here yet. Let me just get back to where my feet could touch something, and we'll go out there. We'll go out there a little later. So that was a good judgment of, pick your battles and knowing when to hold on a second. I don't think I'm there yet. Let me just back up a little bit. For anybody else who's diving head first in the shallow end, just remember it's the shallow end. You might want to dive deep first. Yeah.
All right. Very good. All righty. Let's take our next caller. Caller 936-933. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation.
Good evening. Good evening. Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. I am glad to be recognized that I am in the Maghreb, Alaska, and I am so privileged to know that I am in northwest of Mexico, and the state they call Texas, the plantation. And I would just like to add to the beautiful build. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was just looking for some forward. I would just like to say that I was just listening to the Turtle Island pace, and I love the slow pace of it said nothing's being rushed because of the simple fact when the word pilgrim goes out airwaves, you can hear the word grim hill. Also, in the word pharmacy, I can see the word harm in farm, a pharmacy. And so the spell becomes clear because in the word clear, we're trying to see real, right? The scrambled word, the C being the eyes. And so, we started off the show talking about government, right, and governed, and I thought about government cheese. I thought about government cheese in this kind of way. You see, cheese is an interesting word. Cheese. Start with Kraft cheese in the family patriarchs, right? The Kraft family. Now this is very interesting, y'all. Now they just played the ball game called Superb Owl in Houston, Texas, right? Superb Owl, not the Super Bowl. There ain't nothing in the bowl. It's empty. But it's the Superb Owl of Moloch, which they worship over there in Northern California in Bohemian Grove. And so in this Superb Owl, it was two interesting teams played. The New England Patriot, and we know who that represents, and also the Falcons of Atlanta, which we call the Heru. Now, I said I wanted to add and multiply to the bill, so I'm going to use numbers. Now, the number 8 is what I want to give this is for the Moor's eyes only. 007, below being the 8. The 8 being glasses, so you can lay down and rest and see through them like a lens. All right? Now, this is very interesting. Now, if you take this letter H and the number 8, it unfolds some interesting events and things that's taking place around us right now today, like in Houston. So you have this judge named Hindu Henderson of the ad hoc court who resides in Houston, Texas, and says that Houston, Texas will be the New Jerusalem, where people will come and exodus to get their freedom. He also says that Washington, D.C., which people think is District of Columbia, is really Dallas City, Texas. Once again, which will be the place where people will have to come to the exodus to get their what they call the probate in the Dallas, which he calls the New Jerusalem. And so I find this interesting that this number 8 keeps popping up. That brother said that pen is mightier than sword. Ain't it funny that the word pen equals the number 8? Ain't it funny that in the word cheese you have the C, which is the C with your eye, then you have the H, which is the bridge of your nose, and then you have another EES, which is C backwards. So we can see all the way around with this number 8. It becomes the glasses, where we can see metaphysically we have many angles to see what's going on. Cheese, y'all, check this out. Now, since we can see backwards and we have the bridge of your nose, which is the letter H or the number 8 for glasses, the word nose is the number 8 also. Wow. Now the E on the end of cheese is going to be the number 5. We're just keeping it simple. We're just putting numbers to letters. The number 5 represents the land of pi, or phi, right, P-H-I, or mathematics. And Mayat, which where mathematics come out of, Mayat is the number 8. So I want to say bless up to the panel, the pan of L's. I love the build. I just wanted to see how simple spelling is when we stick with just basics and actually see that these words that we're dealing with is the problem, or these swords. And so the pen must stay mightier than the sword. Pen is 8, sword is 7. The 8 and the 7 work perfectly together because they become the 6. You can make your 6 into a 9, and then you can just spin like Popeye eats spinach to defeat Brutus, the brute U.S. corporation. So I love y'all very much. As usual, thank you for the time. I just want to remind the people that wear your number 8 as glasses. That's the 007, right? For your Moorish eyes only. And, man, just keep stepping with knowledge. Bliss.
Islam, thank you very much.
Islam, bro.
I just want to say, he talked a lot about the 8. I just want to say, an 8 represents infinity. So when you lay it down, it goes under the liar line and back up again, and so does the 6. But 5, 7, and 9, and 5 being love. So I say that we have to be in harmony on the 5, in order on the 7, so that we can reach infinity where the first principle of love exists. So that's really what the seeing. We have to be able to see the seen and the unseen with our unseen eyes. So 8 being infinity, we will reach that and then completion once we understand what the 8 means in terms of seeing both the seen and unseen. I just thought I'd add that on to the.
All right. Let's take our next caller. Caller 111111. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation.
Islam. This is Balance calling from northwest of Mexico. How's my family doing tonight?
Islam.
As well.
I need to say one thing. You're doing a wonderful job. I got to commend you. The ancestors is talking. They saying you're doing the right thing no matter what nobody say. And there's always saying you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink it. That's why everybody got to study. Pick a book up and read, because it can sink into your mental deeper thoughts. And sooner or later it's going to have to manifest if you do what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, you are the power. Each and every individual, it lies within you. The keys to life is what you do today. And I'm done. And I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam. Thank you for that.
All right. All righty. Caller 770334. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at North.
Good evening, family. I'm Edna L., calling from northwest of Maxim, Roswell, Georgia Territory. I've called a few times before, and I called referencing my son who died while he was in a legal battle with a fraud situation that had to do with the foreclosure. Do you recall the conversation? Okay.
I do.
Well,
somewhat, yeah.
Okay. I'm calling not only to give an update as to where we're at with that, but also, to ask some questions. This case had gone to the magistrate court, a de facto court, and they ordered possession of the property back to the mortgage company. Upon the order of the possession of the property, I stayed in the home, and I'm still in the home now. I, in turn, gave an affidavit to the principal and to all the agents that I'm the one with the superior claim, and that any attempt on their part to remove me from the property when they failed to give me my constitutional rights of due process would result in a tort claim against them all. And we're talking about the judges, the courthouses, et cetera, et cetera. Right after that, I received a letter from the judge of the district court, the Court of Appeal, stating that they didn't even realize, they didn't know whether or not they had jurisdiction of the case, and that they suggested that I seek legal representation. But prior to that, one of the attorneys on the case filed a motion to withdraw. Wow. One of the attorneys with the case called me and asked me if I would consider dropping the lawsuit against them and would allow me time to stay in the home. And I told him I would not drop the lawsuit. And, pretty much that your permission that you're giving me doesn't warrant anything because I don't need your permission. So now, because the appellate court judge sent notification to me that they didn't know whether or not they had jurisdiction and that they suggested I might want to seek legal representation, I filed a legal notice to remove this to the Supreme Court. So everybody's been on notice that I'm moving in that direction. I just want to say that my son, my deceased son, he had several years of study with Eyes Wide Open. I came in right
and done well.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Now, I believe I'm comfortable where I'm at with this, but I have a lot of questions that sometimes in my study I can't find the answer. And I've prepared a list of questions, and I'm hoping that after the show, maybe tomorrow someone can give me a call so that I can have a conversation, because now that I've filed the legal notice of removal and waiting to see what the decision is with the Supreme Court, whether or not they will hear the case, I have questions as to what happens after that and what I should do and what should I prepare myself with. So there's just a list of questions that I'm hoping that one of you from the show can call me maybe tomorrow if it's allowed, so that I can go over a few things. And also here in Roswell, Georgia territory, I don't know, and I'm concerned about the temple that's here because I believe it's a 501. And I want to be able to put myself in a position versus with someone that's a little bit more knowledgeable than I am.
But that doesn't mean you're going to find it at the temple, depending on the temple that you're at.
And I'm sorry, maybe I said it incorrectly. I said I'm leery of the temple. I have not participated in that because when I did call and to find out some information, the information I was finding out was not coinciding with what I'm learning from RVBey.
Well,
and so,
yeah,
so I made the decision. Go ahead.
You made the decision
that in talking with them and with them being a 501, they weren't presenting the information to me that I have been learning. And it was just wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable with them.
Well, it's simple. The temples were infiltrated a long time ago. And the work that the prophet left is not necessarily what you will find in temples. And that's just that. All right? Okay. But the work is for you. And so it looks like to me you're doing the work with or without the temple. But I do understand that, you want to what we call be around, your spiritual friends and like minds, et cetera, like that. But unfortunately, you may not find it in an infiltrated institution. Now, what we do suggest. Oh, go ahead, Amy.
No, I was going to follow up on the comment that you just made. I know jurisprudence.
All right.
Someone in that area that I can communicate with some of the questions I have pertaining to the direction that I've taken this, and again, what to anticipate, just some general questions, because I'm still studying.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're doing pretty good. But and if the hearing officer calling themselves the judge of probably, is that a municipal court that you're talking about that said to you, we're not sure if we have jurisdiction? Is that a municipal court?
Well, no, it's a state court, and when I challenged the DOA and their oath, the interesting thing about it, when he made the decision to give possession to the mortgage company, and I presented my evidence as to where it was evident that fraud had taken place, even when my son was fighting with them, and they're the one. They closed his case with prejudice. And with me presenting the evidence and the attorney just talking about the alleged purchase of the home on the foreclosure on the court steps, he still gave possession and gave me 7 days to vacate the property. I don't know. I'm sorry, I got a little off track. You were asking me about the court, and I was saying that it was.
Well, you said that
court.
that's what they did. That's what they did, but then you came back with something. And then after you came back with something, it's when they said, drop the lawsuit. We're not sure if we have jurisdiction. Is that correct?
No, it's not that they said it. When they gave an order for possession of the property, I prepared an affidavit of fact giving them notice that I had to claim, and that and then when that notice went out, I received a phone call, and I'm sorry, let me back up a second. Before that notice went out, the attorney, one of the attorneys called me and asked me if I dropped the lawsuit. I said no. After that notice went out, I received a letter from the 11th Circuit, the Court of Appeal, saying that they may not even have jurisdiction over this case, and that I should seek representation. And when I received that notification, that's when I prepared the legal notice of removal to the Supreme Court. Because, I mean, I've been fighting with them since my son's death about the property. And they keep through these loops that I can't, and I've given them case law where I can represent myself because I am a propria persona. And they're not identifying that. They're not recognizing that. They're not respecting that. So in the legal notice of removal, I made it very clear to them how they've ignored my status when I've made it very clear that I have proclaimed my nationality and I can represent myself. So the notice of appeal is out there, but I have questions pertaining to what I've done and the after effects of it. And I don't want to keep up the whole show by asking the question, and this is why I'm asking, is it possible that somebody can call me?
All right.
But I just want to add this before I yield the call. To add to your conviction and trust in what you've been studying, always keep yourself inspired by remembering that if this was a Negro black color situation, you would already be out the house. If this is as big as they say that it is, and people giving you personal calls and stuff like that, but you're still in the house. The fact that you're still in the house should, relieve some baggage from an energy perspective, right? Because we can say whatever, but you're still grieving. So like your energy has to be directed properly at this time, right now, because of how gigantic this is that you're dealing with. This is not just some house thing that you're dealing with. This is, dribbled into other things that have nothing to do with the house, that are personal. So to keep your fire lit, because remember, their game is wear you out.
Yes.
Their game is wear you down, grind you down to pass the pads, right? And your thing is to not be ground down because you're still in the house. If the point of all this is about whether you should be out the house or in the house, and you're still in the house, especially if the 7 days already passed 5 months ago and stuff like that, they're probably on the run, which is why circuit court or whoever's calling you saying that they don't got jurisdiction. It's not about jurisdiction. They're on the run. They don't want nothing to do with what could go down. So they're calling you, telling you drop lawsuits and stuff like that because they don't want to deal with this. They don't want to have to deal with it because it could mean it's over for them if the right judge gets that case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With a lot of these corporate fraud stuff going on, we might not know, but they already have their cabinets of complaints on these people already, and they're just waiting for the right person's case to bury these people. Because not everybody in there is against, what you're trying to do. There's one judge in there who knows exactly what you're talking about. There's prosecutors in there who know exactly what you're talking about. They're not even going to touch it. They're going to run because they don't want they don't want to lose their little stuff that they got trying to defend some corporate state against you. Because Ultraviolet is not going to protect them if you decide to go after them after.
Which is what she's done already. Right, and they know it. That's why.
Right. And they know it.
Yeah.
Right? So maintain the strength. We commend you for the work that you're doing, you know what I mean, and the sacrifice that you've made to continue to fight for your son. Because, majority of people don't even have those kind of relationships where they're going to back their parent or child with regard to these matters. Mm-hmm. They'll just leave it alone and let whatever happen. You know what I mean? So it's good that you took the baton to make these people know that, he wasn't on his own dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, do you think we can talk to her at some point? But I think I don't know if we talked to you before, but you had called in and you were doing so well and still are. Now, I will say this, if you really want to become an honorary member of a temple, we do suggest Canaan Land Temple to become an honorary member and to get the support of the information shared there. And that's right on the site, on the front page. There's an email there, and you're just speaking with the Grand Sheik Pujo was just speaking with you, who is the Grand Sheik of that. And although it's located in Canaan Land, they have classes through the web, and Canaan Land is still North America, because you already found out that just because you went and it says MST of A doesn't mean that it's proper. But as far as the other portions, I don't know. Annie, did you ever get any other information from your sister? I don't know if we talked to her. The last time I remember was back near December, I believe.
We never spoke. I know for a fact that she did reach out to me, and the call was missed, and we never got a chance to communicate.
All right, so then send to mhhseyeswide@gmail.com to make sure that you still currently have the phone number, and then we can
the
go
phone
from
number
there.
you have was right. I just missed the call. I wasn't able to take the call. I missed the call. But the phone number was right. You did have the
Well, we're
number.
saying send it again. Send it again.
Okay.
Yeah, send it again, because that's 1,000 emails ago.
Right.
All right. All right. But you're doing well, even when you called. Yeah. So just do that, and the words that Grancy Kuja just gave you are inspiring as well. Keep
Very
it up.
much so.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll do that. I'll send the information out, and I will reach out to Canalan as well. All right. Thank you. And peace and love.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next caller is Sister Jayana. Islam.
Islam. Oh, Islam. Huh? I said I owe you a phone call. that just on the side. Go ahead. It's Sister Rod.
No.
Yeah, I do. I got all
you said you got what?
I owe you a phone call. I've been getting all your texts and everything.
Oh, that's okay. That's great. I was actually calling in because of I wanted to make a comment of the last sister that was just on there. I just wanted to congratulate her for all the work that she's doing and to give her words of encouragement. I heard her say that she felt like they wasn't recognizing her as where she was standing, but the fact is they are recognizing her. They just don't come.
Islam, you dropped out. All right. Is anyone there?
Oh, man, she disconnected, okay? I'm hoping she can get back in so she can finish her thought. Oh, let's see. But, because that was like our last person, that was our last caller with a question. So, if anyone else has a question, comment, concern, press 1 while we're waiting for Jayana to call back in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got another caller here. 20309, you're on the air.
Islam. This is Inyani Mutahanka Bay, northwest of Mexham, in the Minnesota Territory. And I just want to call and thank everybody. I've been able to use so many concepts from listening to your show. And because of the concepts, being able to grasp the concepts of law and so many things, it has helped me so much. For example, I've nationalized already. I don't have a card, but I nationalized because I understand the concept of nationality. And so I wanted to say thank you so much. You give me so much input, all of you. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm going to continue to study and stand on my square and be an honor. And I just wanted to thank you all. Peace and love, Islam.
Islam. That's beautiful.
Right.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. All right, our next caller. Caller 352509. You're on the air. Please state your affiliation.
Islam family. This is Zamiel Bey at Northwest Mexham. Islam, absolutely wonderful to hear my family and to be heard by my family. This is truly, truly, truly a divine and national movement. And just to continue the energy on from, I'm going to say ab initio, because truly y'all have been bringing the information and putting in the work, and definitely I give thanks for that. But like Brother Cujo was mentioning earlier, when we're dealing with this information, it is so powerful and it is so much bigger than most of us probably even imagine. But because it is a divine and national movement, there is a certain order of operation. There is a cart and there is a horse. And the horse that drives this entire organism, this movement, is the divine. The body without the spirit is dead. Again, I just want to give thanks for all of the work that you do. My brothers,
we are brothers in more sense than I can put into words. And also to Brother Miz, I want to wish you a belated solar return. But definitely just want to encourage the family to keep your heads up, stay focused, stay on your studies, read the oral prophecies and the statements. The prophet said, I have brought you something that you cannot tear up. Think about what we have been given. He also said that some of his best Moors were still in the church. Those of us who came out of the church and took many other long roads to come to this point where we are now, this knowledge of Moorish science proper. It would do us well to reflect on what brought us to this point. Even a lie is strangely mixed with truth. So revisit some of the things that you were told before, some of the lessons, some of the books. And as Brother Cujo was saying in another episode, memory is a chemical response. And when you tap into this information, you will be able to revisit places in your memory and extract vital information for your survival. But this is a divine and national movement, and until we get the concepts of what divinity is, there will be challenges effectuating the national of what it is. The national is the body. It's already happened. You're here. You were born. Is not debatable. But when we reconnect with the divine, with the higher self, man and Allah are one, and there are specific instructions given to us in the Holy Quran for what we should be doing to reunite and reconnect. So again, family, I give thanks. And to the listening family, continue. Hey, the boat has left the dock. We're all late, but that's all right. It's better late than never. You're listening. You heard the word. Let's get the work done, family. This is much bigger than we possibly imagine. Islam, family.
Islam. Wow. Islam.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And let's see, we got Jayana back. Jayana?
Please, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, my phone disconnected. It hangs up after 2 hours, so apologize. But yeah, I was calling because I was just, like I was saying before, I just wanted to send the sister some wonderful, wonderful energy, and just to let her know that, you know, don't feel discouraged or don't feel like it's not going in her way because it don't look like it from the outside. But it really, really is. And like Cujo said, the fact that she's still in the house is something. But I didn't want to. I know that, you know, the house is really not important. It's, you know, that's really not the importance of it. It's really the principle of that somebody who has no claim, has no lawful nothing, just has no standing at all, doesn't even live in the house, not even going to want to live in the house, nothing, just trying to take something from somebody who's living there. It's just out of nature. It's just terrible. I don't know, but it just makes me sad. But I just don't want her to be sad. I just wanted to tell the sister, mother to light her up some sage. Every time they send her something, she lights those sage, light it up all the way, light that sage up before she opens those envelopes. like the sage on the envelopes, like the sage around them, and then open those envelopes because that what they're trying to send her through those, those grits, letters, whatever, is their energy that they want to put on her. And she don't need that energy. Because what she's doing is right. They're trying to, wear her out, like you said. And so light that sage before you open those envelopes, and then you open them and you read them, and then you light them again, and then you think on it. And you let it process before you react to it. Because most of the things that they're sending is not really what it seemed like. The fact that he's saying that I don't even think I have jurisdiction is not really saying that they don't recognize. It's saying that they know who you are and they know what's up. They don't know if they're ready for that to hear that case right now. But the giving that removal to the Supreme Court is a good move. Everything she's doing is a good move. She really don't need as much help as she thinks, but I know what she's feeling like. Sometimes you just feel like it could be something more or something less. But what you're doing is so in harmony, it's on point. It's a beautiful example of mother and son being united again instead of fighting. The way they had us for a long time fighting each other. It's a beautiful example of that. Send some loving energy to your son because he is not bad. That he just transformed and he's just sending you energy while he's gone. And I just wanted to say that.
That's true. You there?
Oh, wait a minute.
She dropped again. That was a good message, though.
Diana?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to center that. That was all. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, Gianna. I'm sure she heard.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you so much for that. And we will take our next caller. Caller 804-921. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation.
Yes, this brother Azad, RVBey.
Right. Islam.
Wow.
Yeah,
Islam. Yeah, I just wanted to get the when Annie, you were sharing with the brother the case law. I think you was kind of going fast with me. I'm a little slow writer, and I was wondering if you could just give that out again.
Oh, that was me. That was Roz. I must be true. We sound alike. Look at the date in which I had this. Now I've got to get it back. Hold on.
Is it the case law that I sent out today?
Yeah. No. I forgot to look at the date. That's why I can't find it. No, the one that I read earlier in reference to the persons and sovereignty, and that persons in a statute can never mean the sovereign, and also the one about the dry license. The one that I already just found and read.
Oh, that's not in the that's not in what I sent you today.
No.
That's
No, when you
syllabus?
were talking about.
All right.
No, which one are you talking about? I'm talking about where I read where you were talking about the statutes and what they mean, and then I had brought up that the statute, when they use person, is not referencing the sovereign.
Yes.
The one that I read.
O'Neill.
Yeah, that's the one. You didn't have that in your syllabus today, did you? Or did you send it up today? Yeah. I have it right here. It's Supreme Court in Wills versus Michigan, and the other one was
Supreme
Chisholm
Court versus Wills. Supreme Court versus Will?
In the case of Wills versus Michigan, state police. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was a few other ones that were also a part of that. Cruden versus Neal. Cruden, Cruden versus Neal, Neale.
Hold on.
About
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I kind of write slow, so I mean, like I said, I'm picking up what you're saying, and I need to learn how to write faster. But you said versus P.
Cruden, Crud as in David, En as in Nancy versus Neale, Neale. You got that?
Yeah. And then the other one.
Okay, and the other one was, there's a few of them that was being mixed in. About the licensee is O'Neill, not Neil, O'Neill. O''Neil versus Department of Professions.
Yeah, that's the one. That O'Neill versus.
Yeah, that's the one. Department of Professions. Department of Professions and Vocations. Mm-hmm.
Professions. Can you spell it?
All right. Profession, like professional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and vocation, like vocational. Vocati. It's called Department of Professions and Vocations. O'Neill versus Department of Professions and Vocations.
And the other one, I was listening to Brother Mario,
mm-hmm.
and he did a show. One of the he did one of the principles of nationality, and you all had him on. He was talking about child support, and I wanted to. He put it on his YouTube. But I want to know if you all knew when that was, so I can go back and listen to that one.
I don't have that. Do you, Annie, when Mario was on? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, what year it was?
A while. What year would that have been? Do you know, Annie?
I don't recall the year.
Oh wow, the time just flies by. Geez, don't remember. You're gonna have to go through and see whether it's mentioned that it should be titled. It should be titled especially if someone else was the guest speaker on it. That should at least be, I'm sure, in. But I would say that it would have to have been either the early part of 16 or the last part of 15.
Okay. That kind of give me a ballpark. Give me a ballpark. Yeah, but
sorry, we couldn't help you. But there's a video of him, I think, that is dealing with what you're talking about on. No, that was on his YouTube. You're right. But there is one on the front page of RVBey that we put up. So you might want to check that out. You might be able to find some information from that. It's on the front page of RVBey. I
wanted to download it, and I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't download his. So I wanted to go and get the original so I could, just kind of keep it in my archive. But,
okay. No,
you gave me a ball. Yeah, you gave me a ballpark, so that kind of. I said you gave me a ballpark, so that kind of helps out a lot. But yeah, I give you the floor.
Peace and love.
Thank you.
Still here.
Yeah, just for the record too. I think Brother Mario on Moreno Bay's YouTube page. I know he has some stuff on child support. Keenan Lane.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's talking about, right? Mhm. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for the blog talk that we did with him. That was, a while ago.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
What happened to Sister Annie? Did she drop out?
Oh no, I hope not. I hope not.
All right.
But here we go.
Are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Well, we was wondering where you were. We were like, boy, it was quiet for a minute. But, you're usual when you're talking. Well, I knew it. I was going to say, back to the, right, phone muted and talking. All right.
All right. So, let's see. Our next caller is Brother Bakari.
All right.
Greetings. Good evening to everyone. Wonderful show. Thanks for taking the call. I know you guys get so many of them. I just wanted to say that, well, I don't have a question, but I just thought that I would mention for the mother that called in reference to the mortgage issues. I thought that perhaps if she had some time, she could consider some of the videos on YouTube that RVBey has completed. He's got a lot of interesting information, though I've never had to deal with that particular issue. I found it to be very, very interesting, some of the questions that he presents. So perhaps if she's still listening, she can also study some of that information as well. And it just really touched me since I haven't seen my son in some time now, that her son passed away, and she was dealing with that. So that's it. Wonderful show, and I just wanted to share that. Salam.
That's long. Yeah, I'm sure she's listening still.
Indeed. Yeah.
Well, once again, that's our last person with their hand up. And unless someone has a question or comment that they'd like to pose, press 1 on your telephone dial.
That's
it.
It's long.
Yeah.
Well, it's 12 o'clock.
Tomorrow is...
No more questions, and we can wrap it up unless somebody has something else that they'd like to put on the table.
No, just tomorrow. Class is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, take chess Wednesday, right? Yep.
Yes.
But Abdullah doing the class.
Yes. Abdullah. To me,
yes.
At New York.
Yep. All righty. Well, that concludes this broadcast. Here tomorrow at 7:30. And we thank you so much for joining, sharing, building tonight. And see you back here next week, same time. Peace and love to all.
That sounds
indeed. Yeah. Peace and love.
Our problem is lack of knowledge and the intended deceit and trickery done, because even those who read the bibliothelic that you call the Bible says he shall fool even the most believe. So even those who think they're highly educated and this and that, they've been fooled. That's it. It's not really complicated.
It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows it to those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows except those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us pharaohs. The gods are back, the Moors are strapped. We waking up, and we want our land back. Running off, that's a trap. You know them gods don't like that. Waking up from a nap, like where the hell my crown at? Take a step back, like I know this bitch ain't bite back. It's kinda crazy how this karma it strikes back. We enslaved Islam, so they slaved us right back. We called them niggas, then they nigga this right back. We brought them to light, but they ain't bring that right back. If I was lazy, dirty dancing with the baby, then just maybe won't revolt like Haiti. I too strong, love a poor Marcus Garvey, your ass. Nova Junior, our leading God body the man. Now I ain't gotta be bad, and you ain't gotta be mad, but the planet is heating up, so the first I'll be last. I got that melanin that's better than anything you ever medicine. We at your front door, wonder why you never let us in. Oh, I get it, you never wanted to put some credits in. Well, just forget it, cause I don't know if you can edit sin. We've been enlightened long before Thomas Edison. Skeletons to prove that you wasn't even relevant. In the Caucasus Mountains, cause the sun was your deficit. Captain Caveman with the plan of the Jesuits. Check my bloodline, but in time I bring the evidence. Self-governing body, so I don't need no president. Democrat, Republican, donkey versus elephant. I studied in law, so I ain't down with none of that. I self-law and master, so I'm running that. This Molotov cocktail burns faster, so I like the match. Despite the fact that ain't even what I'm mad at. I spit the truth, so here's the roof, so you can yeah that. My skin is brown and here's the proof, but you ain't hearing that. Dead in the eyes of the law, that's why they call you black. Naming all caps when you fall, that's why I strike back. And strike that from the record ab initio. You gon' need more than some pressure, I got a vicious flow. I can take the road to the high, or I can hit them low. Try to calcify my third eye, oh you gon' have to go. Chemtrails all over the sky, and you don't wanna know. Doggone inside of my tribe, they coming no more.
If you believe that your history started on a slave boat, I can guarantee you that's where it ended too. That's what I'm saying. Then after saying that, and so don't believe me, go back and do some studies past the 1700s, and I'll guarantee you, sure as you're sitting there listening or wherever you are, watching, listening, you will find nothing but the word Moor. And that's another thing. Because we weren't called black. That description, maybe, black or Moor or whatever, but that's it. Know the difference between a description and an actual, person, place, or thing now. I mean, really.
It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows it, to those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us pharaoh. It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows except those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us pharaoh. From the pyramids to the project, the beginning is the part they want you to forget. Implant your memory with that noose around your neck. It's the King Alpha plan and it's set in full effect. The butler, the help, and 12 years a slave. Django and Selma, they get them accolades. They made a movie called Exodus about the gods and kings with an all-white cast from Egypt. Now that's the same. They ain't never seen no movie about no European slaves. We were traveling the seas when they was living in caves. We had to civilize them, show them how to behave. In fact, we brought them light and taught them how to bathe. This is trading places with stolen identity. We agreed to be educated by our own enemy. Reverse psychology, I'ma need a lobotomy. An exorcism just to get this shit about me. Roz Mariah, Anna Eve, Miss Raheem, Tariq, Cujo from Cannonland. Listen to them speak. I done learned from the best. I don't need no DNA test. The nations in my womb has given from the breast. The empire's back, so you know what's next. The Moors are waking up, now you must confess. Yes, yes. The Moors are waking up, now you must confess.
Birthright theft. The whole deal was, where's my land that, for them? The whole deal was, this is really, quote-unquote, promised land. This is really the quote-unquote heart of civilization. This is really what you might call Northwest Africa. That's what, and I say that to people so they can stop saying I'm going back to Africa and understand that they're in it. It's the Garden of Eden.
That's what they had in Columbus's journal that they arrived
Absolutely.
in Eden.
So what has happened is absolute lies. That's right. And the land of milk and honey is another terminology. So these things are important because as you're doing studies, and if it says the land of milk and honey, you need to know they're talking about the North American continent. If you don't know that, then you miss it. And that's part of our problem. That part of our problem is the miseducation. We have been lied to, lied to, lied to, lied to, lied to, lied to.
Insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Hardship. My grandmother would go through it every month to pay her insurance bill. First, she would handwrite a paper check, in cursive. Then, using her own tongue, she would wet a stamp for an envelope. Today, however, we need not weary our hands and